generally to be true.
Okay.
Not only my surname,
Okay.
but also my first name.
Okay. Gamali.
Gamali.
Okay.
You know, there's a season, there's a time
Yes.
for everything under the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that very, very true. So I don't tend to how's they put it? I don't rush.
Okay. Gamali. Gamali
You know,
Nenusiano. Okay.
I take my time because I know that there's an appointed time
Okay.
for everything for me. So yes, and then Hoedoafia, I find. I mean, think about it. You know, aside the bit about it that deals with wealth, resources.
Yeah.
It's everything. They say money makes the world go round, right? So if you have wealth, or if you're a wealthy person, it makes life much, much easier, especially when you are the king or the overlord. And if you also look at it from the proverbial aspects, where you're talking about a wealth of wisdom,
Okay.
it's that weighty.
Okay.
That to be an effective leader, right, you need a certain level of wisdom or resources to be able to. That resource is not only in terms of money, but in terms of expertise, in terms of wisdom.
Okay.
Right? In terms of interpersonal relations, in terms of how, for a king or a chief, you would have to listen, follow the cue of all the other people around before the chief then does what? Puts all of it together very nicely in a verdict. So leadership essentially requires a lot.
So for you, the interpretation of go should go beyond money.
It should go beyond money, yes.
Okay, so
it should go beyond money. All the other ingredients that come together to make a king or a chief effective as a leader, is very important.
I wanted to ask, and pardon me if I'm going into because are you an academic? First of all.
So I will not call myself an academic. I'll call myself a technopole.
A technopole?
Yes.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means that I'm a very technical person, but also within the political space.
Okay, within the political space.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm not you're a straight shooter politician. No.
Okay.
I come with technical expertise.
Okay.
Right, and so I'm different from your usual politician.
Oh, I see. How long have you been in this role?
Since last year, February.
February last year.
Yes.
Okay. But the institution, how long has existed before you came in?
Yes. So the IMCC was established in 2010, and the secretariat was established in 2012.
Okay.
I was lucky to be one of the very first people to work there, alongside Dr. Callistus Mahama, Executive Secretary to the President, or Secretary to the President at the moment. And I've worked under various executive secretaries, over time, since that time, since 2012, up to like 2022, 2023. Okay. And then I had to move off to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Along the line, there was a break about a year because we were sent home.
The entire IMCC?
No, but
some of you?
Yes.
Selected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then I went to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And His Excellency thought it was important that I bring my expertise to bear in how he delivers his vision on decentralization and local governance reform.
For someone who had worked with the IMCC from 2012 to be sent home, all of us, did they give you a reason why they did that?
They said they didn't have money to pay us.
Money to pay you?
Yes. Even though, I work on, I used to be the anchor who worked with development partners because IMCC largely used to be supported by DP funding.
Okay.
And I was the guy
you knew what was happening.
Worked on all of those, so I knew what was where.
Okay.
So to come and tell me that, hey, Massa, money no day, so go home, and after several years of service to nation, to just go, just one morning you come to work and they say, hey, Massa, go home. That's it.
But it wasn't like they closed down there.
No. In fact, they increased the number of people in there.
Even though they didn't have money to pay you, they had money to pay more people.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
How much were you taking that they decided to break into small parts and
sheds? Pittance, very little. Very, very little. It's the gymnastics that happen. But I take it. That's why I say to you that Gamalina Nushiano.
Okay.
Right. So under the heavens, there's a time for everything. There's God sometimes, or God takes you through a certain path because of His plan for you. And so it's very important that sometimes when we are in our downtime, we have to be mindful that that's actually the time we should increase our relationship with Him.
Okay.
Because He's setting a certain path for us.
Okay. Okay, now then let's go back to the institution.
Yes.
2012, we were set up. You were the law had come in earlier.
Yes.
The secretariat was
2012.
Functional by 2012.
Yes.
Okay. So now you were an interministerial coordinating committee on decentralization.
Yes.
What were you supposed to do?
So the IMCC essentially is the key national institutional arrangement or mechanism for intersectoral policy coordination, for decentralization, and for the decentralized local government system. Remember that decentralization in Ghana is a constitutional imperative. Previously in Ghana, we had decentralization efforts, but they were not in any constitution. But this 1992 constitution put decentralization firmly as one of the directive principles of state policy. So when you go to Articles 35, 60, you will find it in there. It says that we should transfer the state machinery, administrative and financial machinery of the state to the districts and the regions, and to afford every citizen the opportunity to play a part in the decision-making at all levels of government, where they live. That's very important, right? So it's a constitutional imperative. Then the Constitution goes on to have a whole chapter 20, on decentralization and local government, where it fleshes out the directive principle in 3560. It then fleshes out what we mean by the architecture. And so if you look at the Constitution, there are two key things that relate to decentralization and local governance that are entrenched. 240, which is the bit that talks about decentralization in Ghana. It's entrenched. So if you want to change that, you need a referendum. That
you have to go back to the people.
Yes. That Ghana as a state, we say that our mode of, governing our nation shall be through the route of decentralization, of public administration, and how we govern local areas. So where you and I will live, we say that the people should have the opportunity to mold, to shape how and what they want at that level, how they want that community to look like, is constitutionally guaranteed. And so if you look at it from that point of view, it's actually a travesty that today in 2026, we're still talking about decentralization reforms. Yes, we're strengthening, but really because it's a constitutional imperative, we need that type of ownership from from citizens, the activism from citizens to be able to actually take this constitution, go to Supreme Court, make sure that ministries, departments, agencies that have decentralized functions in law and are not doing it, they should, because it shouldn't only be government that continues to supply. Right? Okay, we're sending the functions down and we're sending the resources down, but also citizens must demand, and play their part in that whole conversation as to how we govern and how we shape the communities in which we live in.
Do you get the sense, because now you're talking about citizen involvement, that citizens understand the importance of decentralization enough to demand what you are talking about?
Not necessarily. That is why it's important that the communication and the messaging is important. It's critical that we engage with our public, that the people of Ghana must understand what it is that we have put in the Constitution. People see decentralization as an abstract construct. I get people say to me, "Hey, Ganoli, this your decentralization thing, is it working? Would it work?" And I say, yes, it would work, and it is working. Now, there's room for improvement. If you take the fact that over time we have tried to shape how the whole principle or the concept of power to the people, right? That is decentralization. And since 1988, with President Rawlings, then we transitioned to 1993 with the Local Governance Act 462. In there, we sought to give powers from the center to the local level, allow for political, administrative, even legislative, ownership at that level. So if you look at the structure of the local governments, if you go into, let's say, what's this area?
This is Ablekuma Central.
This is Ablekuma Central. So if you go to your municipality, the municipal office, when you go there, you would find the structure almost akin to what it is at the center. Right? So there's a DCE and his team. Okay, that's a coordinating director and other directors managing agri, trade, all of that, transport. They have key directors, children, gender, children and social protection, or social welfare and community development. All of those, they are at the local level, right, to help the DCE. So that is the executive, almost like the president and his ministers. Then we have the legislative body, which is the assembly, made up of 70% elected assembly members and 30% appointed by, the president. Now, there's an explanation as to why
it happens
that way.
Why?
But now, when we started the processes of decentralization and local government reform, the framers of our constitution at that time and of the local governance law thought that it was important to leverage local expertise, right, to support the elected members who at that time may not have the total expertise needed, because these were, the concept was new, right? So local leader, local champion, you put yourself forward. You might not necessarily be someone with any type of expertise. So the idea was that if there were people with expertise that came from that area and were on retirement or even in active service, that can lend their support to shaping the development of, and to enriching the conversations and deliberations that take place at the assembly. But over time, that 30% appointment has been abused to the extent that, yes, it says the president, but the president vests that authority at the local level. So you will find that the 30% today is made up of party people and, all kinds of interest. But that was not the intent.
So the intent was not to give the president some level of influence in what happens in assembly is necessary?
No. It was about selecting people with expertise. And so if you look at the first 10, 15 years of it, you would find that a lot of people who were part of the 30% appointed assembly members were people of worth, of expertise that came from those localities, right? Because we wanted their expertise to be able to help shape the development of the area, So that really was the idea of the 30%. And today, as part of the reforms that we are implementing, we are strengthening. We're going to bring a new bill to Parliament, and we hope that by the close of the year, we'll have a new local governance law that in there we have given a criteria, a specific criteria in law that reflects this original intent.
So a criteria for who should qualify to be within 30% pool.
Exactly. Right. That way, we will have a situation where we would not have the abuse of the system, or we would mitigate, the abuse of the system as it is currently. Now, if a party chairman at the local level is an engineer, and they make him part of the 30%, that one, at least he brings expertise. But not that a party chairman without any type of expertise, because he too is Ghanaian. You understand? So he also qualifies to be considered. As much as me seated in my own, with my own kind of expertise, if I'm also considered, that is fine. As long as I live within that community. It's not the idea that you would live in Accra and then they'll come and appoint you part of the 30% in Anglo. Right? You're from Anglo, right? Or
No, I am from the Tongwe. I'm from Sogakope.
Oh, okay. You're from Sogakope. Oh, South Tong.
Yes.
Okay. So the idea is not that you sit in Accra, with your expertise, and then they will take you as part of the 30%, right?
But why is that problematic if you can make yourself available during assembly meetings whenever they need your expertise?
Yes.
Why should it be a problem to have somebody with the requisite expertise who is not necessarily located but come from the...
It's important to have someone with the expertise that understands the local context. Right? Your experiences, because you live in Accra, your experiences are different from the people who live in Sogakope. Right? Just by virtue of location and the daily interactions. Right? So they're different. And so, yes, you might have the expertise, but if you have the expertise and you live in Sogakope, then you are even better. Because then you are seized with the opportunity of location, context, all of that. And so your appreciation of the issues are different compared to someone. So the idea is to focus on the local. Right? We want to empower. I mean, remember, we say that the decentralization is essentially power to the people, allowing ownership for people to shape the places and the areas where they live. So that in the small corner, they say, brighten your own corner. Now, decentralization in the context of definition, either from an academic point of view or from, a practical point of view, it's about how you and I, where we live, how we are able to own the processes and we input into how our local area looks like. So if the issues of drainage, flooding, roads, healthcare, education, if those are the things that are of concern to us in the place where we live, we should have the opportunity. And the reforms that we are bringing on board, that cabinet recently, about 3 weeks ago, approved the National Decentralization Policy and strategic framework for 2026 to 2030. We're bringing very broad, very detailed, top-down, bottom-up, informed policy framework that was approved by cabinet, and we're bringing this to fruition from this year forward. In fact, some of the ideas in the policy, because we started the formulation last year, some of those...
We started formulating this policy from last year?
Last year. Because we had one from 2020 to 2024. So you remember I told you that the the IMCC was established in 2010.
Okay.
Now, in 2010, we came up with the first national decentralization policy and action plan.
Okay.
Right, to guide the reforms and improve the sector.
Okay.
And then in 2015, we had another one to 2019. Okay. Then 2020 to 2024, we had another one. And in 2024, ideally, when the policy is coming to an end, you start to formulate a new one. Yeah. Unfortunately, our colleagues in the previous government did not finish that process.
Okay.
So it offered us the opportunity to be able to do a root and branch review of, the sector, the implementation of the old policy. We assessed that about 62% of it was implemented. Okay. So we had to take the lessons from that one into this new process. And then we decided that new government coming 2025 then offered us an opportunity not to rush, but to use that as a transitional year to formulate, to review the processes, whatever that had been handed over to us, to go down to the local level, speak to the people, get their aspirations, what are their thoughts and their contributions, inputs into how they want their local areas to be shaped through a national decentralization policy. So we did that. And then we came to the national level, where we also had conversations with people at the center. I think some of your colleagues were at the national
I was
dialogue.
there myself.
You were there. Yeah. Great. So that was all part of, the conversations to formulating a new national decentralization policy that, if you like, reflects the aspirations and the will of the people, so that there's alignment from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom in terms of how we want to move forward with the local governance space. Now, you remember that His Excellency constituted a committee for constitutional review.
Yes.
They also brought forward some ideas, and government is currently working on a white paper for implementation. Or it kind of shows a response to the ideas that have been brought forward by the committee. Some of those ideas, as far as they reflect in local governance, have been captured in this, because remember that they also spoke to the people of Ghana. Okay. Right? And so there's synergy in some of the areas in terms of
So did you make
reforms.
a contribution into, because ultimately,
yes,
when the constitutional reforms do happen, or the review, if the white paper accepts some of the proposals they are doing, would you also reflect what you think about the practicability of some of the things they are proposing?
Absolutely. So interestingly, the IMCC has what we call the Legislative Review Committee as one of our subcommittees. It's chaired by Professor Kwamna Ahoy.
Okay.
On that committee, the secretary to the CRC, Dr. Reina Akumperige, is a member.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because we realized that the work of the IMCC and the work about bringing forward a new policy, it was important that we had the opportunity of that synergy, right? So that if we're talking about the ideas that Ghanaians are bringing forward, we also need to, what are the conversations that are taking place at that level also, so that there was cross-fertilization taking place. So yes, we have carried forward very practical ideas that Ghanaians have expressed into the policy. And so if I give you an example, that several surveys over the last 10 years have indicated that Ghanaians want to elect their local leaders. That is the district chief executive.
The district municipal.
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So remember that at some point, President Akufo-Addo even attempted to do the referendum. It's just that what he sought to do, which needed a referendum, is because he wanted to do it on partisan basis.
Okay.
He wanted to do it on partisan basis.
And that was a major disagreement.
And that, yes. Now, the people of Ghana at the time, as expressed in the surveys, even up to today, still indicate, if you check the Afrobarometer, it's there. They say that they want the opportunity to be able to elect their MMDCs, right? So if you now bring another layer of it, right, into the equation to say, okay, look, Article 55 is the one that deals with the issue of partisan elections. And if you want to bring that into the local government space, the people feel that they don't like the acrimony and all the things that happen with the political system at the center, right? And so it was quite important that we continue the non-partisan approach to the local government space, the spaces where they live.
Was they don't want that feeling you got?
Yes.
When you interact with them, they insist that partisan politics is not what they want.
No.
They just want an individual to put himself up. Exactly. You assess the individual based on his abilities.
Based on their ability, based on their aspirations.
Okay.
Right? So remember that you would have to come with a manifesto. To come and tell them, okay, for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever the tenure is when it is determined, remember that we haven't agreed these nitty-gritties. But from the policy 2026 all the way to 2029, we have a window to be able to do all of this. Now, the idea is for the individual to come forward with their manifesto, just like the president does at the center, to come and tell the people, okay, look, I understand your issues. Okay, this is my understanding of those issues. Okay. Right? And this is how I believe we can solve those issues together. Right? So that in 4 or 5 years, if he's not able to do that, then very quickly, they will vote the person out. Okay. What does that mean? It allows the people at the local level to hold people to it. This situation where today the MMDCs, their allegiance, people say, is to the president, because he who pays the piper is the one who calls the tune.
Yes.
Right? So they feel that the allegiance is not to the local people, the allegiance is to the president.
Okay.
And so if the allegiance is to the president, then they are more inclined to be doing things according to how
what
the president
says,
wants, not according to what the local people want.
Okay.
But we have a president in President John Dramani Mahama who is very clear that he believes that, look, local people should have the opportunity to shape and to lead their local areas, right? Without him sending them an appointed person. They should do the appointment themselves. So they will do the interviews themselves, right? And then if you fail in implementation, they themselves will now give you the boot.
So this is something the president agrees with.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Last year at the MMDC's conference at the Institute of Local Government Studies, I don't know if you were there, but the president was very clear that this current cohort of DCs, right, are going to be the last to be appointed by a president.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember that?
Yes.
It's a very emphatic statement. Now, the president, he does what he says.
Okay.
Right? And so it's one of the pillars. And so if you look at the team for the National Decentralization Policy and Strategic Framework, we say that resetting democratic decentralization for accountable public service delivery and accelerated local development.
Okay.
There are threefold issues in that team. We're talking about democratic decentralization. Okay. What does that mean? It means allowing the people to own the processes, to be able to shape their local communities. So what's the foremost way to do that? The first way is to allow them to elect all their leaders at that level. Okay. Right? So that through a democratic process, they elect their local leaders. Who is going to be DC? They elect the person. And then that person, together with the assembly members, can then shape the area together. Right? Now, we're talking about accountable public service delivery.
Okay.
How can we make sure that people are accountable? Right? If you know that your boss, the electorate, they are the boss. If you accept that fact and you accept that, look, they would have to be part of the planning process, the budgeting process. They will have to be part of the social auditing process. they then will have to be part of the decision making in terms of how much money and the priorities that we want and how much money goes into those priorities. You're doing it together. So there's greater accountability at that level. Now, remember that when we sit in Accra and we make decisions, those decisions, say you are a minister for roads or a minister for education seated in Accra. Now, you will receive information about the situation in Bunkurugu, right? You are looking at data, including all the civil servants seated in Accra. You're looking at data. However, the director of education in Bunkurugu, that man there, he lives in Bunkurugu, right? So he understands the local context. Yes, he sees data, but he also sees the data in context. He sees the people. It's a lived experience for him. If they don't have water, it's a lived experience. He too is experiencing it. Maybe they have to travel several kilometers to go to a water source to get water. He too is living in that community. So he understands the situation, right? So he's in a better place together with the people to come up with a solution for that local problem. So this policy and the reforms in the local governance space that the president is pushing is about ensuring that we come up with local solutions to local problems. And that way, we're able to hold our local leaders accountable.
Let me, before you move on.
Yes.
Okay. You're doing the three.
Yes.
Okay, so do with the third one.
So the third one then deals with accelerated development. Now, you see the building blocks. We elect, we formulate, we agree the priorities together. We hold you accountable. And the resources that we determine and the priorities that we agree, they are about improving our local situation. And so if we didn't have water and we decided, look, let's have not just a borehole, but a mechanized system where we are able to distribute the water, right, to our homes. This is our solution together. So we are bringing development. The landscape in our community will change. If it's about our roads, right, we are doing it together. And so we are transforming by doing the thing together, by agreeing the priorities, by setting the agenda in terms of where the money should go, right? Together, we will bring a transformation to an area that several years ago was not the case. So that team is quite loaded with the aspirations of the people.
Okay, so I wonder, because you talk about acrimony with our party politics.
Yes.
But aside that, what would be the strongest case against you allowing the political parties to say, put up a candidate? When the candidate wins, the party then now owns the success or failure of the person they put up. Why is that problematic?
But why is it that the political parties, how they work currently, we have had the experience. I'm speaking as a Ghanaian, right, who lives in a local area, right? I'm not speaking as executive secretary in trying to answer this. That we have had a political system where we elect our members of parliament, we elect our president, right? And that president then chooses a representative who comes to come and lead the development of our area. Now, we've been doing this since 1993 in terms of the Fourth Republic, right? The transformation that we are looking for, we haven't gotten there. We have done the reviews, right? And so why do we want to, after having done all of that, that we are not where we want to be, right? And we say that, a better way of doing it is to ensure that, we now bring the system that is based on this political lines to the local level. That the thing that has not worked at the national level per se, we want to bring it to the local level and we expect that it will work. No, all the evidence suggests. Remember that governance is about the people, the constitution. This constitution says that sovereignty lies in the bosom of the people. So really, government must do the things, the aspirations of the people, right? So if the people of Ghana are indicating that this is what they prefer, then it's important that the president listens. It's important that the party listens. It's important that the government listens. Remember the NDC as a party. Remember the People's Manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The processes that went into it.
Yes, the 2021.
Yes. Before we came to the current one that brought us into government. Now, and there was a build-up onto it. The party took the time to go to all the nooks and crannies of this nation, right? To listen to various facets of society. And so even for the party, in the party's manifesto, the party indicated that they wanted that when Ghanaians give them the opportunity to come to government, they would make sure that they are able to allow the processes for the people to elect their own local leaders. So the party must keep to its word. Its promise as captured in the manifesto. So it's there clearly that we'll do non-partisan election of MMDCs, right? Remember, one of the reasons that the former president withdrew or truncated the processes for the referendum was because they had picked up on the intelligence from their own internal reviews and surveys that it was going to be defeated. Not because of the NDC, but because the people didn't like it. Right? And so, to be embarrassed by a no vote, they had to pull the plug. Now, if you're a president who really believes that you want to empower local communities and you want to give power to the people, then he should have just decided that, okay, yes, the people don't like the political bit. Okay, then let's just do this one that does not require even a referendum.
So you said that referendum could have been done back then, and we would have seen these changes.
As he truncated, because the referendum was needed because of the political bit.
Yes.
But in terms of 243 of the Constitution, which relates to the appointment, it's not entrenched.
Okay, so you can just take it through Parliament.
You take it to Parliament.
Okay.
And once there's consensus in Parliament, that's it. You move forward.
So what you're trying to do will not take the same. So in this case, you don't need a referendum.
We don't need a referendum for this. There will be referendums because of the other things that the Constitutional Review has proposed.
Okay.
But in terms of this particular question, no. It's just the Local Governance Act and then the part of 243 in the Constitution that needs to be changed. Of course, there will be consequential amendments that need to follow, because obviously that will change the way the local governments work and how the architecture is at the local level. So necessarily that needs consequential amendments, and other legislation to come on board to strengthen, the processes the new things that we're introducing at the local level.
If you're listening to us or if you're watching us on Facebook, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Where do you stand on the matter of political parties being involved in the NDC will put up a candidate, and will put up a candidate at Southton or Ablekuma Central, then they would vote on which of the candidates they prefer, or you prefer a system like the assembly system. Our assembly members are elected. They are non-partisan. An individual puts himself up. No party is involved. He convinces you vote for them. Which one do you think works better? But there's also one other issue. Even with this president, he's appointed DCs.
Yes.
He sends them. In fact, they are doing better in terms of the release of the District Assembly's Common Fund to them. But that also comes with projects that I want you to do. 24-hour economy. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want you to do this. And he's releasing those monies knowing that the people I put in place will do the things that I want them to do. But in this case, when you go and elect some individual who is not accountable to you, you send those monies. Would there not be a sense where you will not get the releases of monies that are supposed to come from the coffers of the state in the manner in which they are going now?
The money is not for the president.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
The money is for the benefit of the people of Ghana. It's very important that we make that clarification. So the president sends the money so that the communities will develop. The president sends the money because it's a constitutional imperative. If you look at 252, That is the other entrenched provision in the Constitution as far as local governance is concerned, is the bit about the district assemblies common fund, right? That 5% of all revenues, right, would go into that fund to be distributed. Now, this policy anticipates that, or Cabinet has approved that over a certain period of time in the life of this president, the next 4 years, we're going to have an increment in the DACF gradually to 7.5%.
Okay. From 5% to 7.5%.
So the constitutional minimum of 5% is going to be increased to 7.5%.
Why?
Right? So that because really, think about it. All the action really takes place at the local level.
Okay.
Right? So if you ask me personally,
you think it should have been higher?
It needs to be higher.
Okay.
Right? It needs to be higher.
Okay.
But this situation where in the Constitution it says 5%, and so the president has the prerogative to increase it to whatever amount.
Okay.
But that is not the constitutional minimum.
Okay.
You get the difference. Okay. So the constitutional minimum becoming 7.5% becomes the base.
Okay.
But the president can then determine that, oh, you know what? I think it's important that what the law says, because if you look at the PNDC law 327, that's the civil service law, it says that ministries, departments, and agencies should do policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation.
Okay.
The National Decentralization Policy highlights this and says that ministries, departments, and agencies seated in Accra should do policy formulation, monitoring, and evaluation only. Then implementation will take place at the local level.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So if implementation truly takes place at the local level,
then
more of that money, because the principle of fiscal decentralization says funds must follow functions.
Okay.
Right? So if the state government used to be the one that delivers sanitation, and they've given that responsibility, and they administered it from the center, and that responsibility has been assigned to the local government, then what's the business of the central government or the ministries at the center sitting on the money? That money automatically then should move from Accra to the districts. Right? If you say roads, the bit about intercity roads, right? Because currently it's the ones that, the highways and what have you, those truly are the state's responsibility. But the inner city roads, those are the responsibilities of the local governments. And so we are making sure that currently in this law, in the Local Governance Act, Act 936, there's a department of urban roads.
Okay.
And there's a feeder roads unit.
Okay.
At the district. Okay. But in the municipals and the metros, you have a department of urban roads.
Okay.
That's responsible for roads. Now, the idea is that you need to give them the resources, to be able to do the inner city roads.
Okay.
So that the minister shouldn't sit in Accra and take the money and say, I'm awarding contracts. This situation where assembly members, assemblies will be in their districts, and before you know it, a contractor has moved in and he's doing some work in their locality, and they don't even know anything about it, right? All of that are in the reforms. Okay. The president says that must stop because that's not decentralization, right? And so we're very clear what it is that is in law that we need to practicalize, right? The laws don't implement themselves. It's the human beings that implement the law through the systems that we set up. So these systems that we have established, we have to make sure, and the people of Ghana must be part of that conversation. They need to be able to own it. You understand? It's not that the president can give the powers as much as possible and even allow for money to follow. But if the people of Ghana don't take an active role in demanding more and holding the fire to the people at the local level, then it will be business as usual. But we don't want to do business as usual. That's why we say that we are resetting democratic decentralization for accountable public service delivery, so that the services that are meant to be delivered where you are I mean, no one should leave their locality to travel to Accra or to the region, for instance, to go and apply for something, right? Where you live, that service should be delivered there. And that is really the principle.
Well, we need to take a break. When we come back, I'll ask you what the opinion of people were when you engage them on these assemblies, whether they work at all. Because one of the people, they've been blamed in this issue of floods, and I'm sure you've heard some of the blames. Okay,
I have.
I think we can continue. Yeah, we can continue. Okay, so we can continue with the discussion on this whilst I try to fix a problem before we take that break. But like I said, I've already told you the question I'm asking. The question is simple. You are before the people.
Yes.
And you start a conversation. I'm sure the people would then have told you what they feel about the local governance system, the assemblies, whether the assemblies are functional or not, are working the way they're supposed to. What do they think? Do they think the assemblies work? The assemblies, the assemblies, the municipal youth assemblies, that the current structure works?
So the people say that some of the assemblies work.
Okay. Some work.
Some work. Some of the aspects of their work, they are effective, but some areas need to be strengthened. So I like to say areas of improvement, but you find people don't like that. You should say areas of, you say that they have failed.
Okay.
Right?
They can improve. They can
improve. Means they can do better.
Okay.
So there are areas of improvement. That's what I will call them, right? Because also to encourage them so that when you say it's a failure, you kind of like almost demoralize the people, right? But if you say it's an area of improvement, then you kind of like almost you're dealing with at a certain level with them that look, okay, yes, we understand that we have a challenge. Now you talk about the issue of flooding.
Okay.
It all comes in the area of decentralized planning.
Decentralized planning.
Yes. Okay. So the National Decentralization Policy has a specific thematic area for decentralized planning.
But don't we have that already?
Yes. But this is the thing. You asked, what are the people saying? Right? And what are the conversations when we went out there in the formulation process? Okay. It is the reason why we are strengthening what we are strengthening. So decentralized planning, we want to promote integrated evidence-based local development.
Okay. Integrated evidence-based
local development.
Okay.
Aligning spatial and sectoral plans.
Okay.
We want to enhance the use of ICT infrastructure for data-driven decisions in the planning process. Okay. Now, if you look at the Local Governance Act, it makes the local authorities the foremost planning authority.
Okay. Even the one we have currently?
Currently.
Okay.
The law makes the local government the foremost planning authority in the area. Okay. So when you enter there, anything you want to do you say this is at Blakema Central.
Yes.
Anything you want to do, whether even constructing a road, you need their permission. Okay. Right? You want to set up a kiosk, you need their permission. Okay. You want to break ground to build your house, you need to go to them for a permit. Okay. Right? Under normal circumstances, even the chief who is selling some land, he needs to have a certain conversation with the local government so that together they map up the area. Okay. Right? If there's a cost to mapping up the area, they agree together. So that if the cost of the land is, say, 200,000 Ghana cedis, for instance, okay, because we need to map up this area, because remember that when you finish mapping out the area and demarcating and doing all the necessary things, it increases the value of the land anyway. Okay. Right? So there's a certain conversation that needs to take place between the chiefs and landowners, families, and the local government. Okay. Because the local government, by law, has the responsibility to plan the area, to determine, okay, in the south of the district, we will designate it as our industrial enclave. We'll have our factories and what have you in that place. In certain areas, we want to have recreational facilities. Okay. In this area, we want a certain type of development, maybe story buildings. Okay. Right? of a certain kind in that particular location. Oh, this part, bungalows. And all of this is determined by the local situation, the topography and local conditions.
Yeah.
Right? So together, there's a department called Fiscal Planning Department of the Assembly. There's also a unit in the Central Administration Department called they call it Development Planning Unit. Okay. Now you see that in the same place, one deals with issues of spatial planning and one deals with development planning, but they are one and the same. In the planning process, in the policy making process, in other jurisdictions and the experiences, even in the literature, they're one and the same. There are different types of planners. You have development planners, spatial planners, transport planners, environmental planners, all of it. All of these people really, ideally, should be in a single department, not fragmented. And so that has been pointed out to us by the people in the formulation process that, why do we have a situation where we have spatial planners in fiscal planning seated somewhere, and then you have development planners somewhere else? If it's a development plan for Ablekuma Central, it is the Assembly's responsibility. So a single department should do that. And so it's one of the reforms. We are integrating the planning function so that the fiscal planning department and then the development planning unit, they will become a single department called the Department of Planning. In there, we'll have spatial planners. In there, we'll have development planners, transport planners, environmental planners, all of them working hand in hand to transform and shape that local area. So that's one of the key reforms in this area. We're also talking about the promotion of integration and evidence-based local development plans. So we don't just want to plan, right, because we are planning. No, we don't want to do it haphazardly. We want it coordinated, coherent. So together, we'll come to the local community and say, okay, what are the things that if we take Ablekuma Central, what are the challenges? Okay, do we have issues of floods? What is the cause of it? Right? Let us undertake a study. And then what are the local people's experiences of this? So what type of drains do we need here? Right? The length and sizes of them, the depth of them, all of it. Then together, they determine what needs to be done. So how that place looks like is not only done by the public servant who's seated there, but he does it with the people. Right? And that is where we are moving towards. Because really, if we have a coordinated, integrated process of planning and identifying our priorities, we shouldn't have these issues of flooding. Yes, there's a certain failure of leadership. We are also making room for interjurisdictional planning. That it's very important that Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma West, and whatever other adjacent districts there are in there, they need to be talking to each other. So that if there are issues that are cross-cutting or cross-jurisdictional, such as the water, for instance, maybe starts from somewhere.
Like water flows from Ebri.
Exactly.
What is happening in Ebri is flooding all of us.
It's coming down. Because Accra really, if you look at it from the mountains, then there's a slope, right? And so it's important. Now, you cannot have a situation where you would have the local assemblies giving permits, right, to people to develop in certain ways, or not going out there and ensuring planning enforcement, right? Once the person comes to come and get a permit, they have to do the project according to how that the plans that they brought to you, that you approved, they have to do it according to it. There's no, and if someone goes to go do cite an illegal thing, you're supposed to go in there, break it down, and the cost is to them, not you. The law mandates them.
The cost of the demolition?
Yes. Because you are responsible for doing the wrong thing.
You are coming to break down my house, I should pay for it.
Yes.
Really? That's in the law?
It's in the law.
Okay.
Because you're the one who, you've done something illegal.
Okay.
You understand? So the responsibility is yours. So even if the assembly brings the bulldozers to come and break the place down, the cost from the law is yours. Because in the first instance, you were the one who perpetrated the illegality. Yes, there's a point because they also, the officials there also slept on the job.
They are supposed to ensure that it didn't continue to the end.
Yes. Right? So they also have a responsibility. And they are supposed to be sanctioned through administrative processes. And we are enhancing all of that processes too in the policy. And
so why wouldn't the people use the word failure? Because you're saying that even the current law, if applied properly, we shouldn't be having this problem.
No, we shouldn't.
So if we've not been able to do that, I ask the locals, I can say that our assembly systems have failed us.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying that it is not enough for us to say that they have failed.
Okay.
We're saying that, okay, what is the way in which we should make them more accountable?
Okay.
Right? One of the ways to make them more accountable is to allow for the election of the overall leader, so that he doesn't sit down there feeling that, okay, I'm accountable to the president. And so by the time the president gets to know of the situation in my area or something will play a role, and then it will say, oh, it's okay, let's leave him there. No. This one, it will be direct. If you mess up, the people will give you the boot. What is better than that?
Well, we have to take that break now. We'll be back. We'll be back to conclude the discussion. If you're joining us, do share with us your thoughts. Well, I still have that problem. I will try and solve it and then come back and do that. This is Nicholas Lagoda, who is in the UK. Says, very brilliant ideas for local governance. If you're able to implement them, the benefits are numerous and will speed up development for the communities. Congratulations and good morning to the hardworking and analytical comrade, Dr. Gamali Hoedoafia. There's also this one from Kwesi Akwa in the UK. Elections and too much politics is constantly stalling our developments in Ghana. These elections, I oppose it. Government should find a way to develop through the assemblies with the community leadership. Ghana needs real governance. And his proposal, so he starts from the top. Let me start from the top where he started. They said, Senator, politics is killing our developments in Ghana. Parties come into government with their manifesto. If opposition DC are in place against the ruling government, what do you expect? The assembly should find a way to appoint their own DC, but this should be to be tied down to the assembly's decisions they take per the government directives in the assembly. Elections and too much politics is constantly stalling our developments in Ghana. These elections are opposed. I oppose it. Government should find a way to develop through the assemblies with a community leadership. Ghana needs real governance to develop. When we come back, I'll take your response to that.
Good energy powers the things that people do to empower themselves. It fuels families, communities, businesses. Good energy fuels nations. It gets things going and keeps them moving. Good energy isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Goyle, good energy.
I've been so cool. We're Mabel Restaurant and 2 a.m. sounds. Now, for Mabel's Pub. We're Nungwala Tade Saint. We're not to Quantum Poniso. 80 Jumedian beer with your Ben here, Gun and Niane. And in Nigeria, for Niani be at his jollof rice, plain rice, Bankuni tilapia, Mabrami pizza, Eba, any agushi in Kuobi, okra soup, bitter leaf stew, and a fufro bebre. So we a year, Oji, our dear, Otu, Bedin, and now Posa Woody Jumediana, who here in Niane Papano. For more dinner for any Mabel Restaurant, any Mabel's Pub. Yeah, free delivery. Show much Kwai Ewa Nungwa C5 Junction and in Nungwa Latter-day Saint. For Omo Ewa 0244 052012 and I say 0270 258028. Mabel's Restaurant and Mabel's Pub in Niani Penina Himfi.
National Petroleum Authority say, Mawa Bambo hu hiya ukane. Ain't no, stay back and stay safe. National Petroleum Authority ebo bibia kokose se fuel tank enya akwanhia na edane a menko ho nkwaye wadwen se okosesa petrol ana fango no na afin so menye wadwen se wo ben fuel tank enya akwanhia ne ho akwa akodwitwa videos ana pictures na petrol ana fango wo wen so ohua ko wo mu a enye sunsu aso bone ewo apomoden sem so fango so eho ahometinti no enfom so akitu ebi ebetumi ameja tom amana gise wom eba ne saa nipa dodo timi femu hyehye ehwe mo nkwa emeja pade dodo na nso esei eno nti memfa wo nkwa nto chacha enye saa obenu ho nkwa na nyina se wo se fuel tank bi enya akwanhia na adane amafango no ebugu mpo a hwa na wa aman ho da. Stay back and stay safe. Emomo no aya fredum je jumayefo ana posifo no mo mehwe nso ano wutumi nso efre National Petroleum Authority ewo 0302 550 380 kaise wonkwa wo hoi eho hia bebre esensa afango no kokoboi National Petroleum Authority enede bro.
Miato mi do to anya to ya Chicago club ro ye ya dogo amanchinya gbogbo klonya to fi to tui manyo apasa manyo apasa do badu ya ta mi do to.
Fellow Ghanaians and citizens of Hoedoafia, Radio Gold is back. So is Kokosa reporting. So it's on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. And it is the same objective, no nonsense commentary on pertinent religious, social, political, economic, sports issues. So be my guest and bring your advertisements too, even if they send the tax report to come out due to suddenly. Because you will get your results. My name is Efo Daoud Bidan Kosivi Kokosa Achka Akofusi, and I invite you to make a date. It's on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. See you ever.
Online, on your mobile, and on your smart speaker. This is the Power Station.
Ghana's Gold. Radio Gold.
And of course, our guest in studio this morning, Dr. Gamalik, Keribe, Hoedoafia. Yes. I know the other two, but what does the third one, the middle name mean?
It means small chief.
Small, oh. Is it because your Ho is not up to where they will make you the big chief? That's why you are a small chief now.
Small chief, it's Gonja.
Okay.
So my mom is Gonja.
Okay. So your mom is Gonja, your father?
And my dad is Ebe.
Oh, I see. Very interesting.
A long time ago, my dad left Volta to go up north as a teacher.
Oh, okay.
And then he met my mother.
Oh.
And then he decided to stay there. They're still there.
Oh, your father is still up north?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, my dad is 87. Mm-hmm. My mom is 85.
Okay.
And they're still going strong.
I see.
Yeah.
So your experiences are more connected to that part of the country than to...
Not necessarily, no.
Oh, you're in between?
No. I mean, my dad made sure that every Easter we went home. I mean, I speak Ewe, I speak Gonja.
Okay.
You know, so who would have thought that you grow up in the north in a Gonja speaking place and you speak Ewe?
Yeah.
Right. So it's I speak.
I thought this was an Accra connection, not knowing.
No.
I see. There's only in Accra that interesting things happen. I see. So in this studio with us, we're talking about local governance, and I read to you the comment of Kwesi Akwa.
Yes.
Who feels that the election matter is too much. Let's get the assemblies to find a way of appointing the DC. But because, and you know how local politics works. Even though you stood as an individual,
yes,
we know where you are. So we say, you people have gone to elect this MPP man when we in the NDC are in power. What do you think we will do? So they cannot deny you the funds, but they can delay the release of the funds.
No. You know why?
They have.
No. You know why they can't do it? Remember that the president has to come at the end of his tenure if he's seeking re-election. Even if personally he is not seeking re-election, the party would come seeking re-election. So that if you didn't give that place the money because you determined that they are an opposition area, then what's going to happen? Then you will lose Poto in that place.
Okay.
Remember the situation in Ekumfi.
Mm-hmm.
President Akufo-Addo went there and openly said to them that, yes, it is because they didn't vote for his candidate. That is why, resources, he couldn't pay much attention to it, to that area. And so he was admonishing them to change so that a lot more would come there. What happened? At the time, they won the seat. Right? It's just that I think either he won or something. But he went there to...
No, I think it was elders and chiefs of the community who visited him. And they had lost the seat in 2020.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then he was complaining.
That he did not vote for
him. If you don't vote, there will be no attention to the area. Now, the point is that you see they lost there because already they weren't doing what they needed to do. So if you don't, the people will punish you.
Okay.
You understand? Whatever the situation was, even if you were getting 2 votes, and then you decided that you won't give the resources, remember that the resources that you are giving, the development is the area. Okay. And in that area, there are NDC people, there are MPP people, CPP, then there are neutrals. So all the people are affected in that local area.
Okay.
So their development, remember, if we look at it really, it's very important that we put it in context. That this is Ablekuma Central. It's a small part of Ghana.
Okay.
It makes part of the national economy. So we have 261 MMDAs. Those 261 MMDAs, they make up the national, a conglomeration of them.
Okay.
Pulling all of them together is what makes the national economy. So if the local economy where I live is failing, then it means the national economy would fail. So if you have, inflation is down and all these great economic indicators at the center, what are they reflective of? They're supposed to be reflective of the situation where the people live.
Okay.
You understand? So if you determine that you will not send the money for development because the person there is perceived to be opposed to you, then what you're doing is that you are punishing a certain people, right? Because of the sins of a single person.
Okay.
And those people, are they not also Ghanaians? Are there no NDC people living in that place? Are there no MPP people living in that place? So if you do that, you would find that you would incur the wrath of the people.
Okay.
You are going to incur the wrath of the people, and you will do much, much worse in terms of political fortunes.
Okay.
So no president will try it. No party will try it.
Anyway, quite interesting.
But in terms of Kwesi Akwa, he was saying that the assembly should find a way, right, to elect their DCE. And we are saying that the people, because remember, the assembly and the people are not different. This is very important. The assembly is a representative of the people, almost like parliament is made up of representatives of the people. The same way the assembly represents the people, because the assembly members that the people have sent there are meant to reflect their aspirations. So in law, when the assemblyman is going for the assembly meeting, he's supposed to call a meeting. He's supposed to go into that area, the unit committees, have a conversation. This is the agenda. These are the things we are going to discuss. What are your thoughts?
Okay.
Then he takes those thoughts and he goes to make a statement, just like the MPs make a statement in Parliament. He goes to say, this is what the people in Ward K or in Baoleshi, this is what they are saying. And me as the assemblyman, I'm presenting it to the assembly and it goes on record.
Okay.
Right? This is how we want our place to be like. So it's representative of the people. So the assembly and the people, there's no difference. So if he says that the assembly should find a way to elect their own DC, and we are saying that we want to give the opportunity to the people to elect their own, then we are saying the same thing.
I see. What about the issue of economic viability?
Yes.
To what extent did you consider that? Because assemblies must also generate some income on their own. And if you look at most of our assemblies nowadays and what we have done, and I have complained about this with the chopping up of the assemblies into small distance, most of them without that funding coming from government, central government, from the consolidated fund, they can't do anything by themselves. So people have proposed that, then why wouldn't you do selected elections? So some places you elect, some places
that's what the Constitutional Review Committee is recommending. They are recommending voting districts. But think about it. I'm a Ghanaian. You a Ghanaian.
Yes.
I live in Ablekuma Central. You live in Anglo, or you live in Saftong, right? And then they say that, oh, Saftong, the populations there are not big enough, right? Issues of economic viability. So as for you, you don't get to elect the president will continue to appoint for you, right? But as for me, who lives in Ablekuma Central, I meet the conditions, for elections. So I get to determine who becomes my DCE, right? And I get to be able to put the fire to him. But as for you, where you live, you don't get that opportunity to be able to shape and own the processes. Under the Constitution, it's discriminatory.
Okay.
You understand? So I would not advise that. And I don't think that it will be one of the things that the white paper would accept. Okay. Because it's inherently discriminatory, right? If we must empower all of them, all of the areas. Now, one of the things we are doing with these reforms is that, you remember I talked about a new Local Governance Act that would come as a result of these reforms. In there, we are changing the criteria for the creation of districts.
Okay.
Because remember, before, every 10 years that we have a census, very quickly, once the results are out, then you see chiefs and people from the area start mobilizing and they are lobbying. That, we have met the threshold. Because currently in the law, it says once you reach population of 75,000, then you qualify to be a district.
75,000?
Yes.
Okay.
95,000 municipality, 250,000 metropolitan area. So you find that very quickly people start to, agitate and lobby and work very, we need this, right? And because it lends itself to a certain type of gerrymandering too, then, the politicians, accede to the request. But we are changing that.
Okay.
Now, if you take the population thresholds that were used, these 75, 95, and 250, they were based on the 1980 population census.
1980?
Yes.
That's a long time ago.
Yes. Now, we did all of this because remember that the law, the first Local Governance Act 462 was in 1993.
Okay.
But we had PNDC Law 207, which was the local governance law before.
Okay.
And then we took it 1993, added a few more stuff, and then called it Act 460, the Local Governance Act. In there, we use these parameters.
Okay.
Right? 75, 95, and then 250. In 2016, when we were reviewing this law, we kept those.
Right? You didn't change it?
We didn't change it.
Okay.
Now, today, after 10 years plus, after 10 years of implementation of Act 936, we have come face to face with the issues of this proliferation that you're talking about.
Yes.
So in these reforms, we're saying we would use the percentage.
Okay.
So to try and arrive at the percentages, we went back and looked at the 1980 population census and the results. Then we said, okay, what is 75,000 of that total population? It was 0.6%.
0.6.
0.6%.
Okay.
So in the case of a district, we should have put in the law these population thresholds as in terms of percentages.
Okay.
So that if you said to become a district, you need 0.6%, today you'll be needing more than 250,000 or about 240,000 thereabouts to qualify based on our current national population.
Okay.
Right? And for a municipality, you will need 1%.
I see. 1%.
1%. Right? And then for a metro, you need 2%.
I'm trying to do the
Yes.
Even using 30 million.
Yes.
Okay. Even using 30 million, you're talking about 1.8 million.
Yes, for the metro.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Okay.
Now the point is that if we did that, it makes it more difficult to create the districts, so that the proliferation of the districts would be slowed down. It will not stop it, but it will slow it down, right? So that the current 261 that we have, we will then pay attention to strengthening them. So that if a district then attains the population threshold to move to the next level, then you do the elevations. Right? So that you go from district to municipal. If you're a district and you now qualify, you just move you up to a municipal status. Right? Instead of wanting to create a completely new district in there, so that you are chopping the district into two to create another entity. That is not helping. That's what, And then the requirement for economic viability is in the law. It is in the current law, it's there. It's just that we've had this challenge where, a bit of politics goes into determining these things aside the population threshold. But in the reforms, we are strengthening these processes and making it very clear that once you don't meet the threshold, then you will not be able to, you'll not be able to have the district created. And so we believe that this will go a long way in fixing some of the challenges we have with proliferation of so many districts in Ghana. Now, we need to pay a certain attention to strengthening the ones that we have. And one of the surest way is to ensure adequate resources. Right, to the local governments. And so if you look at currently the 5% of the money that goes to the DACF, that 5% constitutional minimum. Last year, 2025, His Excellency directed that not less than 80% of the common fund should go directly to the local governments. Now, if you take from 1993 to 2024, all the resources that the central government had sent as part of the pool, it came up to about 16 billion. But in 1 year, 2025 alone, with the direct transfers, we achieved about 7 billion.
Wow, we beat all that.
Just in 1 year. Of resources that went from the common fund to the local governments.
That's significant.
Yes. So when the president says he wants to strengthen the local level, he wants to give them the resources to be able to deliver on their mandates. That's what he means. When we say that funds must follow functions, this is what we mean. So it's not business as usual. A lot of things used to be taken out from the center before the common fund goes. Not anymore. This year, 2026, if you look at the common fund formula, the minimum direct that should go is 90%. So a 10% increment from last year. Remember that last year it was minimum 80%. This year, minimum 90% of the pot. So even with the current money, before it's increased, this is what the president is doing under these reforms that we're talking about already in this new policy.
Well, my time is up. We have to go. Just to ask you, you said you are taking the law to Parliament. Is it already there?
No.
Or to be?
No.
But you've finished.
We're working on. We're working on. The draft is almost done. And so it will be handed over to the Minister for Local Government, and he will take it to Cabinet. And once he has Cabinet's blessings, then it makes its way to Attorney General and to Parliament.
When does the policy follow?
So once, as for the policy has been approved. And so we'll launch it very soon. But implementation is started. As I've indicated to you, all of these things, because we formulated in 2025, we have started the reforms already.
Okay.
Right? We have started the reforms.
The reforms have started already.
Okay. Right? We have started the reforms already. Now, even though we don't have much time, there's something very important that I want to make an appeal to you, the media. Now, accountability happens across various levels. It's very academic. There's the horizontal level, that's the state institution, state to state. So what the Auditor General does, with Parliament and all of that, that's horizontal accountability. Then there's vertical accountability, which is the relationship between the lower level and then the center. So the local governments and the center. But vertical accountability also happens with the people and their local governments, because the people are the ones who are the principals. Now, there's a very important layer, which is diagonal accountability. That is where you, the media, and then civil society organizations, you play a big role. Now, local governance, we can't have effective local governance without the media, without civil society organizations. It's important that here in Ablekuma Central, for instance, we need you to take your cameras and your microphones to the assembly office. You got 1 billion. What did you use it to do? You should mobilize the local people, have conversations with them. Are the assembly members delivering how they should? Are their DCs delivering how they should? It's very important that we mobilize a coalition of Ghanaians, of media, of civil society, to be able to put these local people, local leaders on their toes. Remember that if you don't, and you are relying on only the president and central level institutions to do it, we would continue to fail. So it's a special appeal to the media and civil society organization and to all Ghanaians. The assembly belongs to you. They are not tin gods, right? The DC is not a tin god. The fact that he reports to the president does not mean that he's not accountable to you. So even before these reforms come into effect, it's important that we own the processes at the local level. If you see something is happening and they're not doing it, then you can escalate to us. Report right to the IMCC or report to us, call us, and we'll make sure that the issues are fixed at that level. But it's important that you take an active role where you live to be able to shape the situation and the conditions there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Our time, like I said, our time is up. He's Dr. Gamali. The other one, I don't know what. Hoedoafia.
Yes.
Doc, thank you.
Thank you, Senna.
In fact, they'll be doing a couple more things. Like I said, they'll be launching a policy. The law will be passed. So all of those will form the basis of some other subsequent conversations with them on improving our local government structures, making sure they work much more effectively. Thank you very much for joining us on this show throughout this week. A big thank you for your time. We are back same time Monday. Coming up next is the mid-morning show. One of the things he will do is do something special for those who are celebrating their birthdays today. But I can say happy birthday to the Accra Mayor, David Anthony Selassie. The man is from my area. I don't know which one is the surname, but he said that's his name. His name is David Anthony. Which one is your surname? Happy birthday to the Accra Mayor. We'll go board. Happy birthday to Commander Joshua Bora. Happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to Mr. Emmanuel Bombande, who also celebrates his birthday today. We'll see you same time next week.
Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Praise the Lord. Hey, Pastor.